the day Joel got engaged to the one he never stopped loving. I handed in my resignation with a flourish. Overnight, I vanished from his world. He called me like crazy, no answer. He hired private investigators. Even considered filing a missing person report, but I had already escaped to the serene spring city, mapping out blooming seasons in my courtyard by day, and sipping cocktails named Decadent Dreams by night. Life was gentle, lush, and in full bloom, until my little guest house went viral on social media, and Joel caught sight of my blurry profile in someone's post. That day, rain poured like sorrow, and in the courtyard that always felt like spring, even the flowers wilted. Chapter 1. When Joel and Elise held their engagement party. I was at home, bored out of my mind, typing my resignation letter. That phrasing felt too deliberate. Delete. My junior Diana, also my personal fangirl, called me, full of righteous indignation. Celine, Joel's getting engaged. And the bride isn't you. Thanks for the reminder. They're saying you're about to get kicked out too. You can't lose to that pretentious coquette. I quickly corrected her. She's not a coquette. She's the one that got away. That forever pure, heartbreakingly beautiful white rose. Everyone knew that Elise had always been the woman Joel could never forget. Besides, I'm already suspended, aren't I? But you were framed. I cut her off with a flat If Joel didn't believe me, what use was it if the whole world did? I kept typing my resignation. Diana hesitated. Celine, you're not actually planning to leave, are you? I nodded, then remembered she couldn't see me, so I quietly said, yeah. She got even more anxious. If you walk away now, how will you ever clear your name? You've worked so hard for this. Are you really going to just throw it all away over some impulse? I stared at my fingertips and silently shook my head. Diana didn't know. I wasn't leaving out of impulse. I truly wanted to go. Dean, sent, success. Chapter 2. My name is Celine, and I grew up in an orphanage. From an early age, I knew I was different from other kids, but that never made me sad. I was lucky. Other kids had mom and dad, but I had Auntie Mom, and she gave me my name, Celine, which means good fate. Other kids were forced to learn piano or painting. No choice. Me? I chose flowers. I learned through dirt, water, and intuition. You could say I turned a hobby into a skill, then a skill into a profession, while getting muddy with my seedlings. I somehow made it into an agricultural college. If everything went as planned, I would have just been a happy little gardener. But, well, life had other plans. Chapter 3. Back then, Joel wasn't Joel, just a cool-looking teenager. It was my fault. The weather report said it would rain that night, so I rushed to the lab to close the windows, but only when the downpour started did I realize I'd forgotten my umbrella. No one was around. I braced myself to run into the storm. Then I saw Joel walking by with an umbrella. Hey, can I walk with you? I shouted. He glanced at me and kept walking, just until the main road. I'm desperate. Maybe my voice sounded sincere enough, because he finally turned toward me. As soon as he saw my face, he paused, a flicker of surprise in his eyes. Did I look like a tragic beauty under the moonlight? I doubted it, but I needed to get out of the rain. Where's your dorm? I'll walk you. Nice. Out of courtesy, I pulled out a little potted flower from my bag. Thanks. This is for you. No. Figures. Cool guy. Few words. I'm allergic. Well, then we're definitely not meant to be. Funny thing, once you meet someone, you start running into them constantly. That was Joel. We became familiar, then friendly, then nearly inseparable. I learned he studied business in the top elite program next door, that he came from money, and I learned the reason he was nice to me was because I looked just like the girl he could never forget. Chapter 4. The first time one of Joel's buddies met me, he had the exact same reaction Joel did. Wow, you look just like Elise. Was I supposed to say that? Who's Elise? Joel's childhood sweetheart. Too bad she left him and went abroad to study piano. He's probably never gotten over her. The poor guy suddenly realized what he'd said and looked embarrassed. Don't take it the wrong way. I was just making conversation. I waved it off. It was fine. Joel and I were just friends. But over time, we spent more and more time together. Longer hours. Closer distances. Everyone assumed we were a couple. Sometimes. I did too. I never asked Joel the big question. Am I just a stand-in? After all, after years of growing flowers, I'd learned something important. When a flower's in bloom, you pluck it. Life is bitter enough. Better to enjoy the sweet while it lasts. When we graduated, Joel invited me to be his assistant. So young master was finally heading back to inherit his family fortune? Well, I'd follow him into the world of boardrooms and spreadsheets. Keep my plants on the windowsill. And live off the perks. Not a bad deal at all. From then on, he became young Joel. And I became Celine. Chapter 5. If I had to judge, honestly, Joel was pretty good to me. It was probably the classic slow-boil frog situation. The more I saw him, the more pleasant he became, especially the day he took me to the orphanage to visit my auntie Mom and the kids. Every time we passed the milk tea shop downstairs, he'd buy me that overly sweet nonsense he personally couldn't stand. When I insisted, he'd sit with me in grimy diners, watching me stuff my face, tossing napkins at me with a frown. He'd mutter that I wasn't ladylike enough. No big deal. I'd tell him he was boring and had no soul. After 2 weeks of working overtime, I groaned dramatically, cursing evil capitalism. This time, Joel actually replied, "I'll give you a raise." But sometimes, I really wanted to punch him. We'd go to the movies. I wanted comedies. He picked art films. I suggested a romance. He scoffed. You wouldn't get it. His ringtone? A melancholic piano piece. I told him it didn't match a guy in his 20s. He said, "You just don't get it." And for my birthday, he gave me a vinyl of Ballade pour Adeline. I stormed over to confront him. "This is what you got me for my birthday?" He looked at me with faux sophistication. "Listen to it more. You'll understand." Honestly, I was thrilled when I saw the gift box. But when I opened it, I was shocked. Shocked that he could be this pretentious. Ballade pour Adeline? No, I didn't get it. But I sure knew how to dunk his head in water till he did. You don't get it. I don't get it. Who the hell actually gets it? Spoiler alert, I got it. He still hadn't let go of her. Chapter 6. It wasn't that big of a deal. Really, who doesn't have a white moonlight they can't quite get over? Dr. Chin once said, "What you can't have always stirs the heart." But Auntie Mom used to tell me, if you want something, go after it with sincerity. Since Joel was already my boyfriend, I figured I might as well treat him even better, and better still, so he'd have no time to think about Elise. Joel was busy managing a new subsidiary. Always too swamped to eat properly, so I made it my job to plan his meals every night. Not necessarily delicious, but always nutritious. It became the most important part of my day. Whenever Joel had to attend social dinners, I started going along. If I couldn't block the alcohol, at least I could tap his foot under the table when he was close to tipsy. And if he did get drunk, I'd already have honey water waiting. After so many events, my alcohol tolerance skyrocketed. I blocked drinks like a pro. At first, Joel tried to stop me. Later, I guess the atmosphere was always too lively for him to care anymore. If I hadn't had that one night when my stomach started hurting from the booze, I might have believed I was some kind of drinking prodigy. We were the perfect team, a couple that could conquer the world. Until one night, we both had too much to drink. Our eyes lingered a little too long, our hair brushed and somehow tangled. My brain short-circuited, and in that crucial moment, I asked the stupidest question. "Joel, who am I to you?" Joel, bless him, must have been truly wasted. He looked at me, dazed, and then, as if he'd only just realized it was me, he pushed me away. "Sorry, Celine, take the day off tomorrow." Well, there goes the man, just as he was within reach, and there goes that damn question I couldn't hold back. Chapter 7. 4 days after, Joel and I barely saw each other alone. I waited for him to apologize, waited for an explanation, but he seemed to be waiting too. For what? I had no idea. Ugh. Emotionally stunted man. Fine, we could Cold War all he liked. But work? That I would do perfectly. Business is business, my principal. We'd been rushing deadlines for several days. Everyone was burnt out. So when Joel announced he wouldn't stay late, all the overworked office workers with families and friends bailed ASAP. I, on the other hand, had no pets, no kids, no date. Might as well stick around and milk the capitalist overtime cow. Everyone left. Why are you still here? That familiar voice, Joel's overly chatty buddy. What are you doing here? Joel's not around. Said he had something to do. I munched on chips, watching my drama. I know. Tonight we set up something for Elise. I'm just here to grab the gift. Wow. No warning. No build-up. Just dropped the bomb. Elise was back. So that's what Joel was doing tonight. Why didn't he tell me? Why wouldn't he tell me? Chapter 8. Elise came back with her pride. And with Joel's affection. She clearly knew of my existence. But didn't care at all. The first time she came to see Joel and met me, she smiled at me sweetly. I'd already heard overseas that Joel had hired an assistant who looked a lot like me. One look and I knew it had to be you. You really do look like me. People who don't know might think we're sisters. Too bad I'm an only child. What about you? Do you have siblings? Do they all look like you too? Oh, and I heard you used to study plants and flowers. Next time our garden's in a mess, I'll have to trouble you, okay? I laughed lightly. No problem. I'm great at growing flowers. My rates aren't high either. I'll even give you a discount next time, Miss Elise. Next time you come I'll give you a pot of flowers, a pure white lotus. It really suits you. Don't forget to ask me for it. Elisa's smile stiffened. Don't try to insult me with your plants. What's the use of being good at gardening? Joel's allergic, but he loves hearing me play the piano. He attends every one of my concerts. Can you do that? I shook my head. No, but between playing the piano and growing flowers, neither is nobler than the other. The difference is, you do it to please Joel, and I do it to please myself. What's the point of this speech? You think I don't know you like Joel? But he likes me. You're just his assistant. Before I could speak, she cut me off with a sneer. I've asked him many times about you. He's never once said you're his girlfriend. Elise walked away, head held high. She had the capital to do so. I wasn't Joel's girlfriend? No wonder. No wonder he never took the initiative. Never rejected me outright. No wonder I'd been waiting for an explanation. That would never come, because he'd never acknowledged me to begin with. How ridiculous. An empty joy all along. A dream dissolving into mist. Tears blurring my eyes. I was no longer myself. I shouldn't be like this. I shouldn't. Chapter 9. I don't know what Elise said to Joel. That afternoon, Joel, surprisingly, came to talk to me. Don't say those messy things to Elise. She might overthink. What a perfect pair, an eyesore of a couple. Work was still getting done. But Joel never came to me alone again. Instead, Elise showed up all the time to flaunt her presence. One time she poured out the coffee I made in front of me. Tastes cheap, she said. Fine. One less thing to do each morning. Drink it or don't, I couldn't care less. Elise heard I used to bring homemade lunch for Joel, and pestered him to let her try it too. Joel couldn't refuse her. So he came to ask me if I could bring an extra portion tomorrow. I rolled my eyes so hard they almost flew to the ceiling. Oh, so now I'm a prop in their romantic little roleplay? Sure, 100 per serving, fixed price, 2 orders minimum. Okay. Ugh, why did I ever like Joel? Dumb and rich. That night I made sure to overload the dish with cilantro and fish mint. Joel hates both. Don't know if Elise can eat it, but Joel definitely won't. Elise took away my assistant duties, took back Joel, and now she wanted to take my flower pot too? Calling it a flower pot was generous. It hadn't even had the chance to hold a flower. She pointed at the little ceramic pot by my laptop. This one's cute, Celine. Since you're not using it, why not just give it to me? Of course I refused. Not just because I couldn't stand her, but because I had made that little pot myself, with Joel. Joel had shaped the crude base. and I had refined it after it was kiln fired. I spent 2 full weekends painting it layer by layer. I didn't want to give it away, so Elise wanted it even more. She started a scene. Right then, Joel arrived. Joel. Elise tugged at his sleeve sweetly. Celine won't even let me look at her pot. Isn't it cute? Can't you talk to her? She tugged at him while shooting a taunting glance at me. Joel looked a bit awkward. He gently pulled his sleeve away, but, as always, couldn't bear to upset Elise. Celine. Elise rarely shows interest in things. Could you? He paused. Even someone like Joel couldn't quite bring himself to say take it by force. Maybe just send her a link. Let her pick one out herself? Boom. Everyone's face dropped. Only Joel could manage to offend everyone with one sentence. He really couldn't see Elise's interest wasn't in the pot, it was in me. And he clearly didn't remember this was something he made with me. Celine. Elise. Crystal clear now where his loyalties lie. He never saw it, never cared. What was I even upset about? It's pointless. This pot's dirty and cracked. Not suitable for Miss Elise. I tossed it in the trash without a second glance. As for the link, it's long gone. If you like it that much, Joel, go find one yourself. Another pointless, sour ending. This tit-for-tat wasn't making me happy. They say flowers are heartless but people are full of emotion. I disagree. I think flowers are the kinder ones. Chapter 10. After that, Elise surprisingly stayed away for a while. I quite enjoyed the piece. But the good days didn't last. The bidding project we'd been working overtime on for over a month suddenly collapsed. Others didn't know why, but I did. That kind of thing shouldn't have happened. Everyone toasted, buddy-buddied, sealed deals, yet at the last minute, we got stabbed in the back. Celine, get in here. Joel's tone was sharp, even with the recent tension. He never spoke to me like this. I had a very bad feeling. Celine, I'm asking you seriously. Did you leak our base price? I looked up, stunned. This was the Joel who had walked side by side with me for years, and now he suspected I had betrayed the company? I never thought you were the type to bite the hand that feeds you. He said, right, she's everywhere. I've never leaked anything to anyone outside. I was cut off by Elise's syrupy sarcasm, but I heard the leak came from an account with a flower avatar. Isn't that you? I took a deep breath and reminded myself, don't argue with idiots. Focus on solving the problem. You heard? And from whom? Elise. Maybe you're meddling a bit too much. Joel's face darkened instantly. Enough, Celine. You don't have the right to speak to Elise like that. If it weren't for her father's connections, do you think they would have even looked at us? Right, qualifications. Joel was really pulling the connections card on me? No, right? While you were planning her welcome party, I was working late alone crunching numbers, and I have no right? I clenched my fists. So what now? I should thank you for making me take the fall? Let me ask you just one thing. Do you believe me? Everyone else can doubt me, but Joel, he can't. I stared him down, desperate for a shred of trust in his eyes. Just a flicker. But no. See for yourself. He slid over his phone. A message. Anonymous. My profile picture. A data file being sent. I was so furious I actually laughed. If you can believe something that stupid, then I really misjudged you. All beauty, no brain. Ever since Elise came back, Joel had become nothing but a soft-headed simp. Celine, Joel didn't accuse you publicly. That's already. I couldn't listen to Elise's smugness 1 second longer. Bang. I yanked open Joel's office door. Joel, I don't need your so-called mercy. You know what I did. I know what I did. Chapter 11. I was suspended. Joel said it was in accordance with the company handbook and based on existing evidence. Fair and impartial. Sure, Joel is fair to everyone. Except me. After graduating, I had worked for him non-stop. Now, finally, I had some time to live for myself. And honestly, it felt great. Especially not having to see those lovebirds every day. Only downside was Diana wouldn't leave my ears alone. Celine, you have no idea. That White Lotus thinks she owns the place now, ordering everyone around. This and that. Might as well run the company herself. But today, she actually did a good thing. said she's having a piano recital. And Joel gave us the day off. With too much free time, thoughts creep in. I thought of that birthday night, the one where I asked Joel to spend it with me. But he said he was too busy. My phone vibrated. Celine, tonight's my recital. You probably don't want to come. But Joel's going to propose to me on stage. I still want to invite you to share in our happiness. So kind of her. Fine, I'll go. Time to wake myself up from this joke of a dream. My foster mom always told me, if you make a mistake, fix it. There's no greater kindness. And I did make a mistake. I was ready to fix it. So that night, I went to Elisa's recital, sat quietly in a faraway corner, and watched my first love kneel down to someone else. And end my story. Chapter 12. That day, I spent a long time replaying the wreckage of my so-called relationship. And finally, I reached a conclusion. I'm fine, but Joel isn't worth it. Let those two crazy lovebirds go to hell together. Screw it. From now on, I'd rather die than be someone's assistant again. Even love as deep as the ocean ends up as butterflies torn apart. Life and death. Yin and yang. Bad omen anyway. And in my case, I'd never even had real love to begin with. Once that clicked, I felt light as a feather. While my mood was steady and my head clear, I stayed up all night writing my final masterpiece for the company, a resignation letter. It started rambling, turned into an essay, then into a string of curses. But at the end I still magnanimously wished Joel well, wished the company prosperity, and wished him and Elise 100 years of harmony. The next day at work, everyone but me got to witness their happiness. Joel escorted Elise from office to office, handing out wedding candy. When they reached the assistant's room, Elise leaned sweetly on Joel's arm. Celine's still here. That's great. She'd definitely help us plan everything perfectly. You'd have less to worry about. Why don't you just lift her suspension? Joel set the candy on my desk, turned, and patted Elisa's hand. Okay, whatever you say. We'll let this go, and I won't pursue whether it was really her. Diana hesitated so long that Joel finally noticed. After carefully picking her words, she blurted, Celine already resigned. Joel, you didn't know? The office fell silent. The scrape of his leather soles against the floor was abrupt and harsh. Is Celine joking? Throwing a tantrum? If this gets out, how can she work in the industry? Diana, ask her if she really doesn't want the job. Joel stood frozen for a moment, then barked, Let her, and slammed the door. The junior assistants exchanged looks, like a row of teeth gone cold without lips to protect them. They probably never imagined that one day I, Joel's favorite soft, easy target, would harden. When Joel was gone, they whispered, Celine's really pitiful. She treated Joel so well, and in the end got dragged down by some vague nonsense. Exactly. She even drank herself into gastritis for that bidding project. And still got accused. Not worth it. Wait, gastritis? You mean Celine? Joel had doubled back unexpectedly and overheard. The girl panicked, stood up, and pulled bottles of medicine from my drawer. Joel, it's Celine. She's still taking stomach meds. Joel froze. He knew exactly how I got that stomach problem. All those drinking sessions, networking on his behalf. Back then he'd asked if I felt sick drinking so much. While handing him a lunchbox I'd teased, You think everyone's like you, can't handle a whiff of flowers or alcohol. I can drink more than you. You're the one who should watch it. Joel's face darkened, even turned a little lost. Elise, noticing Joel hadn't come back, appeared. In an instant, Joel straightened himself, back to his usual blank mask. See? Even after realizing I'd nearly worked myself to death for him. One call from Elise and off he went. I'm not sure whether I'm more pathetic, or Joel more pitiful. And how do I know all this? Not because I still care about Joel, just because Diana's need to share every detail can't be stopped. Chapter 13. It had been several days since I resigned, and Joel hadn't shown even the slightest reaction. But I no longer cared. I heard Elise still couldn't stand even a speck of dust named after me. She told Diana to completely clear out my desk. And Joel, walking past that now empty desk every day, never once stopped. Until one day, he saw that pesky little flower pot again. Diana, as always, was sharp enough to read the room. Joel. This was a pot Celine left behind. She threw it out, but I thought it looked nice, so I brought it back. It was still that same dull, not even cute-looking pot. And now, abandoned by its owner, it bore a small crack on its side. Elise, ever the superstitious princess, called cracked pottery unlucky and was about to toss it again, until Joel stopped her. Give it to me. And this time, Diana, usually the office peacemaker, didn't play along. Joel, Celine made that one herself. She's already quit. Maybe, just let the pot go too? That hit like a brick. All color drained from Joel's face. He didn't respond. He just grabbed the flower pot and muttered, "She made it herself." As if something dawned on him, he traced the inside and outside of the pot with his fingers. Finally, he found what he was looking for. Etched into the handle were our initials. Just the two of us. Did she leave anything else? Joel asked, eyes red. Her sunflower handbook, full of notes she made about you. Want to read it? Joel took the little notebook, written in my careful handwriting, and returned to his office in silence. Inside were all the things he liked and hated. How to manage his schedule. What kind of proposals would win his approval. Joel realized I knew him better than he knew himself. But now, I'd let all that go. Chapter 14. 2 years passed before Diana contacted me again. By then, I had already made a home in the beautiful city of Chuncher, a city of endless spring and blooming flowers. This was where I belonged. I'd always felt guilty about Diana. When I left, I didn't say goodbye to anyone, not even her. But the truth is, I missed her. After all these years, she's one of the few people I could truly call a friend. We both sighed, recalling how I'd vanished without a trace. She brought up a name I'd nearly forgotten, Joel. He went almost crazy trying to find you. She said. He called nonstop. Found your place empty. Even contacted your orphanage. You didn't even tell your aunt. He couldn't believe it. In the end, he tried everything, hired detectives, reported you missing, but you never showed up. That was the first time I saw Joel fall apart. He would just stare at your empty desk, work like a maniac, just so he could save time to keep looking for you. He didn't let Elise touch a single thing you left behind. Celine. I think you actually won, did I? Not really, because I gave him my real feelings, and fell for him too, but that doesn't matter anymore, because now, I don't love him anymore. Chapter 15. Life in Chuncher was genuinely peaceful. I opened a small guest house here, in the courtyard. I planted all kinds of flowers. Visitors from all over came just to take photos in front of my massive floral wall, and I loved the city's nights. Chuncher is like a gentle, mysterious girl who healed both my heart and my stomach. These past 2 years, I'd become good friends with the bartender at the local lounge. Whenever there was a new drink in town, I'd be the first to try it. Hey, come look, Ethan called out. I was just scrolling Weibo and found a girl who looks exactly like you. And guess what? She's from Luoshire too. Isn't that wild? Excited, he quickly pulled up the Weibo account. It was Elise. How fitting. I'd just been talking to Diana about Joel, and here Elise shows up online. Her wedding prep diary's kinda cute. Not gonna lie. Ethan chuckled. You two look so alike. She's about to get married. You really ought to catch up. So they're getting married. That's nice. It's how the story was always meant to end. Just because we look alike doesn't mean our lives will be the same. I snapped out of it and teased him. Aren't you the one who dumped me? You better take responsibility. Whoa, don't get any ideas. We're just sisters. All right. Before Ethan could finish, he slammed the table so hard everyone looked over. Holy, Celine. You're trending. Chapter 16. This is the era of exposure. You can become someone else's story at any moment. My little garden went viral. Why? Honestly, it's just that beautiful. Not to brag, but really, that's the only reason. On the trending page, my floral wall, and a blurry side profile of me. I had no time to bask in the glory before Diana's call blasted through. Celine, have you seen it? Most beautiful BB is trending. Joel already saw it. He's on his way. I can't help you. Girl, you're on your own. This girl, well, let him come. This is my home. I'm not leaving. I didn't do anything wrong. Back then, I shouldn't have run away. Chapter 17. Joel showed up first thing the next morning. I'd imagined so many versions of what it would be like to see him again, but in reality, it was surprisingly calm. He didn't even bring luggage, just stood there at the gate of my garden, unshaven, travel-worn, drained. Maybe this is what they now call the brooding uncle aesthetic. Joel's eyes were red as he stared at me. Long time no see, Celine. He'd said my name in all sorts of tones before: cold, intimate, irritated, confused, angry. But this was the first time it sounded like this: clenched teeth, bitter regret. Why did you leave without a word? Since he was technically a guest on my turf, I kept it polite. Long time no see. Come in for some tea? But he stood there, unmoving. Why didn't you contact me for 2 years? Who gave you permission to leave? Oh, excuse me? Still doesn't understand human language, even after 2 years. Suit yourself. Just don't mess with my flowers. If you pass out halfway through, I'm not carrying you. I turned and walked inside. You're asking why I left? Should I have stayed and kept taking the fall for you too? If I didn't leave, could I even continue working in this industry? You knew how much I loved plants, and what did I get in return for giving that up? Your mockery, your suspicion, your silence. Did you ever care if I was happy? Never. I lost myself, and staying would have only killed off what passion I had left. I had to leave. Joel reached out. Flustered, I stepped back, dodging his hand. I'm sorry, Celine. I know it was unfair, but I didn't not trust you. I just didn't have proof then. I had to give the company an explanation. I let out a sharp laugh. So I was the sacrificial lamb. Good to know. He had no answer, because there was no way to justify it. After a long pause, Joel pulled a small box from his bag. Inside, 2 matching ceramic pots. I recognized one immediately. It was my flower pot from back then. Celine. I've kept this pot for 2 years. We made it together. It was my mistake not recognizing it before. It cracked. So I went back to the studio and made a new one. Would you take it? He looked at me with such guilt and hope. I took the pot from his hand. Okay. His face lit up instantly. He stepped forward and grabbed me. Then come back with me, Celine. Please? I pulled away and shook my head firmly. Joel, we're over. I'm taking the pot because it's mine. It did nothing wrong, and I can use it. Joel panicked. No, Celine, it's not over. I know I hurt you before, but I love you. I know you still. There's nothing to apologize for. I chose to love you back then, and I don't regret it. But now, I've moved on. That's also my choice, and I don't regret this either. I cut him off. Go home. Elise is waiting. She's waited for you for years. Don't disappoint her. No, I talked to Elise after you left. We realized we confused our feelings. The person I truly love has always been you. We're not getting married. Right now. The families are too entangled with business. But I'll fix that. I want a home with you. I paused. If Joel had said even one word like this 2 years ago, maybe things would have ended differently. But now? A missed moment is a missed lifetime. Yes. I still want a home. Yes. I crave love, but not a love I have to beg for. Joel, you're just upset that I left you first. You don't believe I really stopped loving you. Joel's face twisted with grief. You're right. I did this to myself. He let out a bitter laugh. But I'm not leaving, believe it or not. I'm going back to take care of everything. I'll be back by the weekend. Host. Save me a room. I'll pay. With that, Joel turned around and left. Like a sulking teenager. I didn't stop him. Chapter 18. Joel's short visit didn't change anything in my life. And that realization was an immense relief. Not that I'm afraid of drama, but this life I've built, so free, so peaceful, I'm just not willing to give it up. The next time Joel showed up, Ethan happened to be in my garden, cradling his latest cocktail creation, Drunken Dreams, and bragging about it like it was the elixir of life. Who's he? Joel's face turned dark the moment he laid eyes on Ethan. Oh ho? And who are you? Barging in here looking for trouble? I hadn't even spoken yet, and Ethan had already stepped in front of me, hands on hips, ready for war. He leaned back, wrapped an arm around my shoulders, whispered dramatically in my ear, "Spill it, Celine. You've got something going on here, don't you?" Joel yanked Ethan aside. "Tell him to leave. I need to talk to you, alone." "What? This handsome devil is ruining your moment?" Fine, I'll go." Ethan winked at me shamelessly as he strolled off. I waved him off lazily. "Finally, peace, Celine." Joel started. "I know you've been holding on to what happened before." I looked into it, this time. I got the truth. It was Elise, wasn't it? Joel froze. "You knew?" I smiled faintly. "Of course I did. There's no such thing as that kind of coincidence." "Joel, be honest with yourself. Did you really not know? Or did you just not want to admit it was her? Because tell me, 2 years have passed. So many chances came and went. Why is it that only now you've finally figured it out?" He didn't argue. Instead, he rushed to explain. "Celine, I've already ended the engagement with her. There won't be anyone else between us again. No more misunderstandings." I shook my head. "Joel, don't try to guilt me. You didn't call off the engagement for me. You did it because she betrayed your company. Because she let you down. Because the love between you two was already gone. But not because I showed up again." Maybe my words were too direct. Joel's face turned purple, then pale, then purple again. "Celine, I know I messed up, but I can change. You said you didn't want to leave this place. Fine. I'll come to you. I'll open a branch here, transfer the business. As long as you're willing to wait, I'll make it happen." He grabbed my hand, desperate. "I'm not willing. Joel, can't you see that's the point? I'm not willing to wait for you anymore. Following behind you is exhausting. Standing still waiting for you is lonely. I don't want either of those things." I tilted my head, shielding my eyes from the sun, squinting up at him like I used to when I was young. "Do you even know what my name means?" Joel didn't answer. "You don't, do you?" "It's just a little flower. I never had grand ambitions. All I ever wanted was to be a small flower that turns toward the sun. I'm not a big tree, and I don't want to cling to one, either. So, let's just end this. As for your idea about opening a branch here, don't be silly. You know better than anyone that's not realistic. Are you going to give up your network, your resources, your foundation?" The more I said, the more his face fell. He looked like he was on the verge of tears. "I can start over. I don't care. As long as I can be with you." But I still shook my head. Sunrise with hope, sunset with peace, a heart full of dreams, busy but not lost. That's the life I want. And Joel can't give me that. Truthfully, I don't blame him anymore. We were young. Feelings then were never about right or wrong. And besides love, I gained something even more important. Myself. Chapter 19. Joel left. This time, I walked him to the gate. Before he left, I handed him a tiny succulent, planted in that same little flower pot we once made together. The flower I never managed to give him when we first met. I finally gave it away. One day, I'll meet someone who's willing to cherish this little flower that is me. But that person won't be Joel. Goodbye. First love. This time, for real. Ethan was waiting outside the garden. When Joel passed him, he didn't even pause. Ethan burst in the moment Joel was out of sight, grabbing my wrist excitedly. "Who was that? Who was that? An ex? Huh?" I sighed. "Yep, that was the ex-fiancé of that influencer you followed the other day." Ethan's jaw nearly hit the floor. Then he spun around and gave me a big thumbs up. Damn, my sister really is the main character of a replacement trope novel. Cold-blooded queen, zero nonsense. I love it. You've got to hand it to Ethan. His eyes are sharp. He looked totally crushed walking out, all slouched over like a sad puppy. "You heartless assassin. You broke his heart again, didn't you?" I smacked away his overly theatrical orchid hand fingers. "You talk too much. That guy? Even if one of his 7 senses is broken, he's still got 6 to spare." Chapter 20. After that, Joel never came to see me again, but he often sent me WeChat messages. He told me he's taking good care of the little succulent I gave him. He told me he's managing the company well. He told me he visits Auntie Mama and the kids regularly. He told me he'll keep waiting for me, but I never replied. Of course, I didn't delete him from my holiday greeting or guesthouse promo group messages either. I suppose, when I finally meet someone truly right for me, I'll send Joel a wedding invitation. Aw, but enough about that. Ethan's at it again, pestering me for gossip. I've got stories. Do you have wine? Buy me a drink tonight.